Coates was just God speaking to me that cold, rainy day, and there was a need. But when I went there and delivered the coats and got the list of the agencies, and on it was Sunshine House, transitional housing for parents with children. There was Safe Harbor, which is the women's shelter for battered women and children. And there were so many others. God just put it in my spirit. It was something that wouldn't go away, that I knew there was a need there, and I knew that I could do something about it by asking other people for their help. And it wouldn't cost anything if I took things out of my closet, my parents' closet, Dan's closet, and asked other people to bring clothes. So it was really a ministry that God put in my heart that just didn't go away. When God speaks to you, He will tell you something and you'll feel it, and it just doesn't go away. And the more you try to run from it, the more convicted you feel. It's almost like you're sinning by not doing it. And God had everything in place. That's why it's really been so easy. His timing is so perfect. We've just had to be patient and not rush things. But God knows exactly what He's doing, exactly how it needs to be done, if we'll just be obedient and listen and wait for the things to be brought to us. It's evolved because of God evolving the ministry and nothing but us. It might be this afternoon that God will send somebody that will say something that may open up another whole vein of ministry. But that's God's timing too. And if it's what He wants us to do, He'll send us somebody to help us do it. It's huge.
Yeah, it's just now really starting to get off the ground good with the children's clothing and all. So it's hard to put a number on it, but we've donated coats to other churches, local churches around here that put on I guess giveaways, clothing giveaways to their neighborhoods and stuff, and a lot of children's stuff. It went to those. So, but it's still in the early stages of getting started with the children's stuff.
But the clothing, if you look at New Year's Day, the first year was about 250 people.
And it's grown to 800 this last year that we fed and let them get clothing this past New Year's Day.
About 1,600 coats on that day, and the ones that weren't taken on that day, like Dan said, they were shared with other agencies. AIM sees so many people every day. They would come in, they have a key to get in the house or the code, and they would come in a couple of times a week and get coats and take them back to AIM. So when people were coming in for food and other needs there were racks of coats that they could pull from. So I think it's had a huge impact in that, but not anything like what it will have when we're able to help these kids in school, the needy and the homeless, because the needs are so great. We have started to get a lot of response. With the New Year's Day being 4 years now, the community's aware. We've got a lot of press. Churches bring coats, the whole community does. A few churches know about Righteous Threads now, our clothing ministry here, but in the next 2 months they will know a lot more about it as we're getting more organized and get everything settled. We've had sponsorship from the Rotary Club and a couple of other organizations, but with this shower reaching into the whole community by being through a local bank in all 4 areas of the town, I believe that in the next 2 to 3 months all the churches will be very aware that there is an organization called Threads of Hope, and they'll come on board with us, because that's everybody's goal, is to be missional right now. All churches are looking for mission opportunities with our economic crisis such as it is. So it's a good way to support those that are in need and identify those needs and provide for them.
We started out renting a storage building and was in it for pretty much 3 years, and small and everything packed up, and the church knew what all we were trying to do and was behind us, and we kept praying for a house somewhere around the church that would be close by and convenient for everybody, and the church being in the center of town. So this house is actually belongs to First Baptist, and it was our children's house, and they're letting us use it now for Threads of Hope. And it's just like it couldn't have been better. Not just around the church, but actually on the church property. It's just prayers answered.
Mm-hmm. The Building and Grounds Committee asked us if we could use it. Again, it came to us. God never hides anything from us. He just hides it for us. And sometimes we get impatient in waiting for it, but He hid this for us. This house was here for several years not being used. And then the Building and Grounds said, well, if you can use it, it's there. Threads of Hope was the original name that I felt God gave to me for the name of the ministry. Righteous Threads came about, last year? Mm-hmm. When we first were given the use of the house and we started putting clothing in here. And again, it's one of those things that you just feel God says, Righteous Threads, Righteous Threads. I needed a name that would suit the children's ministry and be a little more appropriate than Threads of Hope. And the word righteous, of course, meaning holy, but it also plays on that surfer, skateboard kind of term, righteous. So God just put it together. It has a double meaning in the word. They are righteous threads. They're really cool. We thought it was going to be cool threads for a while, but God changed it. But also, all the clothing in here has a prayer covering over it. We pray over these clothes. There are people that are prayer warriors that have made a commitment to pray for this ministry. And we also have cards that we put into the pockets of the clothing or tack it on somehow that tells people that we are praying for them. So it has its own ministry when they get a piece of clothing, whether they realize it or not. Someone is praying for the person that wears that clothing. The very first time that I took Coats to Salvation Army, I didn't have this little poem, but somehow between that first week and the second week that we took clothing, this little poem gave to me. And I don't know if I've read it before. I don't know where it came from. I just felt it in my spirit. It may be something I learned as a child, but this is what we put into the pocket of the clothing. Someone has promised to pray you through this day, asking God's blessings and help you find your way. Prayers are being offered for your protection and care. This promise is given. With these gifts we share. When you feel you have come to the end of your rope, our prayers are with you in these threads of hope. May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in Him. Romans 15:13.